All right, a very good morning to you. It's good to see you right here on Your World. And the topic today is all about children. All right, so it's all about child safety. And we are focusing on injury prevention. And this is at home because, as we all know, the home is a place to relax, to play, and to be with the family. But there can be areas of potential danger as young kids have the highest risk of being injured at home because that is where they spend most of their time. However, in as much as we try to be vigilant, injuries will still happen, and therefore it is important for us to know how to handle a child or child injuries. So the big question is, what are the ABCs of child safety and injury prevention? That is our subject of conversation today. And like I said, you want to stick around until the end of the show. And we have a very simple question for you this morning, and it's all about children. All right. And we're asking you, what do you do to keep your child safe from injuries? And this is at home once again. What do you do to keep your child safe from injuries at home? There's one interesting comment I've seen here. This person says shouting. Okay, so this is Defi D Achieng on Facebook, who says shouting from sunrise to sunset and not forgetting fear men. I don't know why the whole aspect about fear men. But Honorable Abraham, rather, as me still on Facebook, says, if your house does not have a kid's playpen, then you have a long way to go, all right? Again, someone else says, this is ONKE, says, the house is strictly out of bounds for play, okay? And then Sharenya Waambe here, okay, says, teaching them on what to do and not to do on daily routine, and more so discipline of the highest level. And then there's also one who says, my mom used slippers, and this is Opio, okay? But again, we'll continue to sample your feedback as we continue with the conversation today, and this is on child safety. But again, if you have a question, and this is as far as, you know, first aid is concerned, feel free to also send them our way at NTV Kenya, both on Facebook and on Twitter, or give us a call. Our lines are officially open. But to give us more in-depth information, and the correct one at that, all right, we have guys from St. John, not St. John's. You also used to saying St. John's. I'm change.
That's that S after N, where it came from.
Nobody knows. All right, so we have Andrew Njohi, who's the EMT of first aid trainer from St. John Ambulance. Good to have you this morning. Thank you so much for joining us. And we also have Michelle Njiku Sikobe, who's a communications manager at St. John's, right? Communications, okay. Communications, okay, so communications from St. John Ambulance as well. Good to have you this morning. Thank you so much for making time for us, because again, this is a very important conversation that we all should have, but at the same time, just be aware of it, especially when it comes to first aid. I know we're told, if you can, please go get trained. But for those of us who have not been trained, then you're in a good place today, because there's a lot happening, as you can see on the floor, if you can see. And of course, they'll also be taking us through what exactly is happening. But do you want to just tell us what exactly is down here? Andrew, very quickly before.
These are just equipment that we use for training people in first aid. We have a first aid kit, both in two sizes. One we recommend for you to have at home, the small green one, for the home. And if you have a large family, you know, those guys who have like 15 people in their family, in their home, can use the large kit. Yes. Okay. But the small one, even for your car, is recommended for that.
Okay. All right. The basics, or the most important thing is to have at least some of this. But in many homes, do people really have a basic first aid kit?
What do you think is in a first aid kit?
Bandages. Caesar, because I've seen.
It's just basic stuff that is in a first aid kit. As you've mentioned, scissors, razors, you have bandages, definitely dressings, we have alcohol swabs, spirits, Salt water is even in your first aid kit and such. And you do have those things in your house, in your home. It's just that most people, when you ask them, do you have these things? Yes, I do have them, but they're not all together. They're not
scattered.
all together. They're scattered. But you do have a first aid kit.
Okay, in as much as it might not necessarily be in a first aid kit, at least to gonna salt
water.
water.
The content is what is important. Unaonaga kwa gari saa ingine ama hata kwa matatu, guys have a first aid kit that has only cotton wool. Is that really a first aid kit? Ama iko na spanner? Or pliers. It should not be the case. That's not a first aid
That's not a first aid kit. I see you. Okay, but Michelle, very quickly, in terms of just understanding, first of all, just first aid, right, in itself, and how important it is, and where we are at in terms of like the knowledge, you know, and even the skills as a country. Okay, where would you say we are at based on the people that you guys interact with on a daily basis?
In terms of first aid, I can say where we are at, we are trying as a country. Because nowadays, with the people that we train at our offices, people come from all walks of life. Old, young, we also have teenagers who are in school who are interested in learning this thing. And one of the things which is our aim as St. John, we want to make sure in every household there is at least one first aider. So that's why we are going to schools, we are going to campuses just to form clubs, St. John clubs, whereby we are able to train the students. Yes, just to sensitize people on this is important, because you never know, you may be in the house and your child may actually be the one who will help you and save your life.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Okay, so at least have one person per household. Right? Okay. We're trying, still a long way to go. But in schools, I mean, we see these clubs in schools and whatnot, which is important because, again, today, since our focus is on children, I think it's important even in schools to have at least 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 pupils who have the know-how as far as that is concerned. Okay, child safety. Why is it important, first of all, for us to just think about? Because like we all know, children will always be children. They will always play. They will always be at risk of danger at some point.
Even adults.
Right? Even adults. But for kids, it's important, right? Because for an adult, you would know what to do in some instances, or you would say how you're feeling. But most of the time for a child, they might not be able to speak.
Child safety is important in the home, and that just comes from how you also set up certain things. It's just as something as basic as making sure that the liquid soap is in its original container, and you do not put it in a container that used to be water, a water container. Having dangerous items that could cause cuts and harm basically to the clearly stored away, also a hazard in the home. So that safety is important, and making sure that the kids are always can I say engaged safely. Even if they are riding a bike, it's important that they ride it in a safe environment. Even if it is in the estate, they are guys who are driving around the estate are not speeding, and they are watching where they're driving and such. So those are some of the things that we try to advocate for. And you know, when you're trained in first aid, you're able to know what are some of the things that are harmful to you and to the people around you, mostly the kids. And if any injury were to occur, you're able to deal with it very quickly. If it is just a minor cut, yes, the child will cry, but it is not something serious. And you know how to deal with it. Just clean it and go ahead and bandage it up. Yes.
Okay. And again, like we said, children, they just want to explore. And someone says here, if you do not have a playpen, then you're in trouble. You have a long way to go.
How many people have a playpen?
Exactly, right? How many people do you even know what a playpen is? And it will get to a point where the child will outgrow the playpen, right? So then does it mean that they're never going to play at home? Because someone here says, the house, no bounds. Right? So at what age would you say we see a lot of injuries as far as children are concerned?
From ages, the moment they start to walk.
Okay.
That is, they are prone to injury, falls and such. So between 1 and 5 years, you have kids who are prone to injury, and mostly 2 and 3 years, that's where the majority of the injuries come from, when they're moving around and exploring, as you're saying, and seeing, is this thing hot? What will happen if I touch this when this iron, when it is being used? Is it hot? Mom, nimeumia, and such. So that age group is important, that you look out for their safety and ensure that whenever you're doing anything that could cause injury, you're able to take care of it quickly, and calmly also. Yes.
I mean, listen, and especially for moms, I panic at the same time. Okay, and very quickly, Michelle, are there like some type of injuries that are more common in children as compared to adults that maybe you see on a daily?
Yes, yes, there are injuries that are common. That includes burns, bleeding, falls and cuts. Yes, those are so many that they are very common, in that a child may cut themselves today, tomorrow, but now it all depends on the intensity of the cut. Because there are situations whereby a first aider can handle, and then there are emergencies whereby now you will need further medical assistance. Yes, so it's also important for a parent to know, this is an injury that I can handle as I wait for an ambulance, and this is an injury that I can just handle while I'm at home. Yeah.
I mean, how do you know? I mean, there's some that you can clearly see, this one, right? And when Andrew says, do not panic, calmly. Sometimes that is not the case, because then you don't know what to do, right? You're panicking because you might think that it's just, not a very big cut or burn. But the more you wait, the more, serious it becomes. So a lot of people would panic not knowing what exactly to do at the initial stages. So when Andrew says calmly, please help us understand this calmly. What are some of the basics that maybe we need to do in any given injury? And then we'll talk deeper into very specific injuries that we have.
Actually, as Andrew said, you actually need to remain calm, because you can't have a baby crying.
You're crying.
Also crying. So one of the things that we teach our first aiders is, in every situation, you have to remain calm. You're the only one who can assist this child, this person. So you have to be there for that person in a way that they see you have the situation in control. Yeah. So if, for example, it's a cat and the baby is crying, you just have to, maybe let's say in this session they'll remember that we saw what Andrew did. So now let's just take the child to a running water. Let's pour the water and see if the bleeding stops. If it stops, this is what I'm supposed to do. With that, at least you're calm. Now, if you need further medical assistance, you can actually call an emergency number. Then we will now inform you and tell you that is just a minor cut. It's okay, the child will heal. If not, we will tell you, let us send our ambulance to where you are, and then we will take your child to hospital. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So try as much as possible.
Yes,
and
try as
be
much
calm.
as possible.
Okay. Andrew, what are some of those mistakes that we usually do in the event that there is an injury that would end up, posing more danger to this person, whether an adult, but more specific to a child, because we're focusing on a child today? Some of these common mistakes that we do.
Again, panic. Again, panic is a bit hard to control. So beyond that, people don't make an assessment of the situation. You need to assess and see what are some of the safety concerns around, immediate safety concerns around. What kind of injury is the child suffering from? Am I able to, what has caused the injury? And am I able to sort out what has caused the injury first? If it is a burn, if someone maybe burns, if a child burns themselves on a hot iron, and they're crying, and you leave the iron on a piece of cloth or wherever, and you go deal with the child, what is the danger there? You have a danger of a fire starting. So you didn't switch off whatever, the appliance first. You need to switch it off, so that now you can now handle the injury. Because you don't want to make the situation worse. So you just need to assess. Those are some of the mistakes. The people don't make an assessment of the situation. And also doing Usually I say kienyeji stuff.
Okay.
Because you had someone deal with an injury in a certain way.
Yeah.
Alipaka unga.
Yes.
And I don't know, they...
Even growing up, that is what we saw our families do. So it's like, I see, my mom used to handle this thing.
But you don't understand why they used to do it.
Yes.
So when I'm training guys, I tell them, punguza uganga. So let's try and do things that make sense, first of all, so that we're able to do the right thing, and it's simple things.
Yeah.
As you told, when you started, you talked about ABCs. As we are training, there are ABCs of first aid.
Yeah.
Yes, you just need to follow the ABCs of first aid.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So assess the situation. Try handle it medically to say, okay.
We say AMEGA. AMEGA stands for assess the situation, make the area safe.
Okay.
Emergency first aid. Get help if you need help.
Okay.
And then now deal with the aftermath.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
That's how
Omega. We'll remember that. Remember that. All right. Very quickly before we go on a break, because after the break we'll be literally down here. Okay. So that we give you all the ABCs, like Andrew says, as far as child safety is concerned, or just first aid is concerned. But very quickly, Michelle, some of the must-have skills for a first aider, because a lot of us would say, me, I watch movies. This is what happens in case of an emergency, right? And then we tend to apply that, thinking that we are first aiders, and then we make the situation worse. And especially when it comes to handling children, and maybe touch on very quickly how different it is to handle a child versus an adult in case of an injury. And then we'll come back and do the practicals after the break.
All right. In the difference between handling a child and an adult, one of the things is a child can't speak and tell you this is what I'm feeling.
Yeah.
While an adult, for example, if a child was choking, you wouldn't know that the child is choking unless you see the person holding here. Yeah. An adult, you can actually tell ataanza kukohoa.
Yeah.
Yes. So for now, those are the differences. So dealing with, there are actually different ways of dealing with a child and dealing with an adult.
Okay.
Yeah, for example, if a child is choking, you have to give them 5 back blows. If an adult, it's also 5, but now there's a way you do the chest compressions that we will show you when we come back.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. But then again, so the basics, skills that are important for first aider, so that punguze uganga, like Andrew said, what are some of these basics that we should know that is applicable and not just because we are, in distress and we do whatever it is that we have.
Basics, one should know how to tie a bandage. One should know how to stop bleeding when the person is bleeding. One should know how to help in terms of choking and do CPR.
Okay.
Those are the basics.
Basics. Okay.
Yes.
Very important.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you want to add on to the same very quickly, Andrew?
Yeah.
Before we go on a break?
Whatever Michelle says, choking, bleeding, again, ABCs.
Okay.
Airway, breathing, circulation.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. They're literally ABCs. Okay. All right. Let's take a break. But when we come back, then we'll show you practically how to, conduct first aid in case of any form of injury. But then we'll go deeper into the specific types of injuries. But very quickly on the question that we asked you today, and that is, what do you do to keep your child safe from injuries? And this is at home. Someone says, this is always know everything to God. Okay, but you also need to have the basics. Yeah, this is Eliaki Moyancha. And then someone else says, this is Okoth, says slippers work well. Thorough beating makes them settle. But they are kids. You cannot, allow them to, All right. And then someone else says, says, why? The whole day. Okay. All right. And then someone says, this is Dennis Waswi, says, keep them busy watching cartoons. And then someone else says, where thingy here? Okay. And then says, this is Paulina, who says, if you get hurt, you get punished. And this is a rule by my mother. And I think most of us growing up, even though ilikuwa umeumia, unachapwa kwanza alafu unaulizwa lakini umeumia wapi? All right. And then someone else says, pray for them. okay? And then someone else says keeping them under maximum supervision. But how maximum is maximum, all right? Like you said, the kids, they would explore, and at one point they will get injured. All right, so let's take that break. But when we come back, we'll actually, like I said, show you some of the practical, aspects when it comes to first aid. But keep your feedback coming. We'll continue to read them as we continue with the show. But see you very shortly after the break.
Benefits of ordering with Glovo. Glovo allows you to order anything you want at the comfort and convenience of your home. Craving fried chicken or pilau or pizza? Easy and simple. Order on Glovo today. Glovo, order anything, we deliver in minutes. With Glovo, you order anything unataka, and when you get it una celebrate because kukuchoma imefika, na wakati keki inafika ndio sherehe inaanza. Order Glovo, will deliver in minutes.
Show off your best skin with Nivea Nourishing Cocoa Body Lotion. Now with 5-in-1 Complete Care. The deeply nourishing formula prevents your skin from drying with precious cocoa butter and deep moisture for smooth and healthy looking skin. Step out in confidence with our most complete care from the world's #1 skincare brand.
Imagine 10 people you know and love. Imagine if any of them needed blood immediately. This is a reality. Every 10 minutes, 10 people in Kenya need blood. Be it a mother in a maternity ward, an accident case, a surgery, or even a lifelong medical condition. These people need your help. Why don't you be their hero? Your timely voluntary blood donations will ensure our blood banks never dry up. Save a life today. Donate blood regularly at a county blood donation satellite near you. Changia damu, okoa maisha. Be the lifeline.
We were asking for two things. We were asking for a formula to distribute the special drawing rights better, and we were asking for the recycling of the special drawing rights that the countries that don't need them receive. We are asking for a scale-up of the mechanisms for investment resources for the developing world.
All right, welcome back. I can see our time is far much spent. 31 minutes past the hour, and we have a lot to cover as far as child safety, and it's all about injury prevention at home. And the question that we're asking you today is very simple. What do you do to keep your child safe from injuries at home? There's one Collins Ocheng who says, this is the biggest worry and a challenge to most of us as parents. You see the kids play in the house and your heart skips a million beats, and yet they are laughing and enjoying the moment. Anyways, just make sure to put away blunt or sharp objects like knives away. The floor should be tidy, and if you have those heavy carpets, the better. But continues to say, do not forget to shout. This shouting thingy. Right? And majority of the times we were not told, like growing up, you're just told stop or no.
Yes.
And then that's it. You're not told why. I think maybe should we say first aid should start from there. Explain to this child why you're telling them no, or why you're telling them stop, or why you're putting things away. Should it start from there?
It can start from there, but you know, when you're dealing with a child, they'll probably not want to understand all that, or don't want to make it too complicated.
Yeah.
Just tell them it's bad.
Yeah.
If you put your hand there, you will burn.
Yeah.
So basically, yeah, that's explaining.
But no, but since they'll go to wasikie, sasa you kuban, like how will it feel?
Yeah, experience is
right?
the best teacher.
It's the best teacher sometimes in some instances.
Is the best teacher.
Okay. And someone still says that they need to be hyper vigilant. Like, I think the biggest question is how much, you know, of vigilance would you, because again, like we said, they're kids. Okay, so can we just see things,
yes,
show stuff?
We want to demonstrate someone how to handle a person who is choking.
Okay.
This is for a child who is above, can I say above 1?
Okay.
Who is able to stand. So how will you notice that they're choking?
Yeah.
Yeah, they are grasping their neck. They even turn color. They are a bit pale.
Yeah.
You know, Michelle is actually very light.
She will turn red.
She will turn white. She will turn pale, and the lips will be a bit blue.
Okay.
So if they're choking, you try and encourage them to cough. Try and cough it out. Cough it out. If that doesn't work, you're going to lean them forward.
Okay.
Just support. Lean them forward.
All right.
And then between the shoulder blades.
Okay.
Between the shoulder blades, using the heel of your hand, you're going to give them 5 sharp blows.
Do you know what let me come and show you what most of us do. Sisi, those who watch movies is this. We're like, you know?
Ngumi.
Yes, literally like 1, 2, 3, 4. But that's not the case.
Usually we encourage you just to use the heel of your hand, because that's more accurate, and that's you get a better hit.
Okay.
So it should be a sharp blow. So
okay.
I would do an actual blow on Michelle. So it should be a sharp blow. Even if you're dealing with a child, it should be a sharp one.
Yeah.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then check. Definitely we'll see relief.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
But if they're still choking, you will need to now try something else.
Okay.
We are going to try abdominal thrusts.
Okay.
So
all right.
we started with the coughing, and then we go to the back blows. If that still doesn't work, go to the abdominal thrusts. What they call.
But what if they're not doing none of that? Like they're not showing any signs? Because there's some who just, Nyamaza, they're not coughing, they're not trying to. So you won't know.
You just go directly to the blows.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
So with this, you're going to stand, just put your leg hapo.
Okay.
And then
in between.
Yeah. You're going to look for her navel there.
Okay.
Just above the navel. You're going to
like this.
make a fist.
Yeah.
Just above the navel, make a fist inward, and then come and
support
that
with this other hand.
So this is thrusting in as it goes up.
Oh yes.
Yes,
okay.
Because you're pushing it up.
Yeah.
You're trying to push the obstruction out. Remember, choking is an obstruction of the airway.
Yes.
So you're going to push the obstruction out.
Okay.
How many times? 5 times.
5
also.
times.
Yes.
Okay.
So you do it 5 times. Check.
Okay. So that is for a child, like it says, who is above 1 all the way to to adults.
Yes.
Because most of us tashika hivi, and then we push inward instead of.
It needs to go up.
It needs to go up.
Up and out, because you're trying to push it out.
Yeah.
In first aid, we focus on, as I mentioned earlier, ABCs. Your priority when managing a casualty is the airway, then breathing, normal breathing, and then circulation, making sure that there's no bleeding, there's no massive bleeding, and controlling loss of blood and such.
Okay.
So those are the main things. So choking is a life-threatening condition.
It is. It is. Yeah.
It's a life-threatening condition, and for children, it is the thing that causes death in children especially that age of 2 years, 3 years.
Okay.
So should be very, as someone was saying, hyper vigilant.
Yeah.
Especially when they are feeding and such, and putting things in their mouth. When they are at that age of putting things in their mouth, they might put something that is too large.
I mean, listen, speaking of putting things where they're not supposed to be, others would put things in the noses, others, you know, so then what do you do in such instances?
If for foreign objects, if they put something in the nose or in the ears, we usually advise you to get to the hospital.
Okay.
Go to the hospital, they'll deal with it. Don't go fishing for it.
Yeah.
Don't go fishing for it because you run the risk of pushing it
further. Yes.
So,
okay.
I know most mothers will say you can suck it out.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's not really something I would encourage. Just go to the hospital. They'll pull it out in the hospital, and if there's something, if it gets worse, they're able to handle it in the hospital.
I might come in mosquito neka oil. Whatever oil that you have in the house, don't do that.
Don't do that.
Don't do that.
The only thing, if it is a fly that goes into your ear, you can put water so that it can float
That's
out.
the most uncomfortable thing. It's not fun at all. Okay, so and what about a child below 1 year?
An infant. Let's classify that as an infant. Let me, this time I want to go down.
Okay, all right, yes.
Now, this is my infant. This is my infant. So most of the time they're choking because maybe you're transitioning them into solid foods and such. So for an infant, they'll go quiet. Okay. And then lips start turning blue and such. And you know that they're having trouble.
Yeah.
So if they're having trouble, what you're going to do, just support the head.
Okay.
Support the head, turn, and using your thigh as support, you turn them like that. And then using the heel of your hand again.
Again, yes.
You're going to hit hard. You need to hit hard enough. Don't be afraid that because it's a small child,
like 3 months or 4 months or 5 months.
You need to hit it hard. You need to hit hard.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4,
5. Okay.
5 times.
Okay.
Check.
What happens if I do it like 6 times or 7 times or 10?
Again, if you do it for too long, you need to always check on if there's what's it called, if you're achieving anything.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because you see, that is what we usually do. 5
is adequate because 5 will tell you whether it is working.
Oh no.
If it is not working after 5, then you turn.
Okay.
Turn the baby. Turn the baby. Support the head.
Okay.
Support the head and always your thigh. You can even be seated.
Yeah.
Yes. And then using 2 fingers, at the center of the chest.
Yeah.
At the center of the chest, just below the nipple line here, you're going to squeeze. You're going to push it in 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Okay.
If that doesn't work, go back to the back. Please.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how many repetitions?
You repeat it until the obstruction clears. Or they get worse. Now, getting worse in this situation for a choking baby is that they stop breathing. And
no, we do not want that, no.
Yes, we do not want that. But it may happen.
Okay.
It is a possibility when they're choking. So again, do not panic if you notice that they're not breathing, because you will notice that there's no movement of the chest and they're totally quiet. You need to start chest compressions or what we call CPR.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Resuscitation.
Do you know how scary that is? Like to see they were breathing at some point and then they've stopped breathing. And remember what you said earlier on, calmly handle the situation. But again, I like the way you're very specific on what to do and where to put your fingers.
Yes.
Because most of us, again, in that situation, you're panicking and all those things.
Yes.
So, okay, below, like you said, the nipple line.
The nipple line.
And not further down or up.
At the center of the chest.
Okay.
Yes.
What could happen if you do it wrongly?
If you do it, if you place your fingers at the wrong position, you're not helping your casualty. Yeah. So what could happen is that they could go unconscious and stop breathing. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's what now you're trying to avoid.
But people with like long nails like me don't because then you're like, right? You have to. But I want to assume if you are a mom or a caregiver, you might not want to have those long nails in case anything happens because you need to. Okay. All right. So chest compressions, like you said. No. Yeah, CPR.
CPR.
Yeah, in
or
case
resuscitation, if you can remember.
neither of the two, yes, work. Okay.
So, if the baby goes unconscious and they stop breathing, again, you're going to check their response.
Okay.
How you check their response is by tapping their feet.
Okay.
Toto, can you hear me? Toto. Nothing.
Nothing.
No response.
Yeah.
So you're going to tilt the head back as you lift the chin slightly. And then that is what we call opening the airway.
Okay.
So because they were choking, most likely the airway is still blocked. You're going to check whether they are breathing.
They're breathing, yeah.
You're trying to listen. You're trying to look at rise and fall of the chest. So do that for up to 10 seconds. Now, if after 10 seconds, you realize that they're not breathing,
Yeah.
you need to call for help.
Yeah.
Take your phone, call an ambulance, and tell them you have a baby that is not breathing.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or if you have someone else in the house, tell them, Michelle, go call me an ambulance. Tell them, I have a baby who's not breathing.
not breathing.
Yes.
Okay.
That is the first, what we call the first link in the chain of survival. So the moment you send for help, then you start CPR.
Okay.
So what you're going to do for children, we're going to start resuscitation using mouth to mouth.
Okay.
You're going to start using mouth to mouth. So you're going to blow.
Okay.
Now, because it is maybe your child, you can do it direct.
Okay.
But usually, we try to promote the safety aspect. And if you have your first aid kit, you have a resuscitation mask.
Okay.
Yes. If you have a resuscitation mask.
Okay.
This one is for training purposes.
All
so,
right.
You're going to place it directly on the casualties, nose and mouth, and then just blow. Now, if you see the rise of the chest like that, it means that the airway is clear and air is passing. So you do 5 initial ventilation. So you're going to blow 5 times.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
5. Okay.
Now, after 5, you locate the same place you were doing the chest thrusts. You're going to do chest compressions using 2 fingers. Chest compressions, 30 chest compressions.
Okay.
So you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 28, 29, 30. And then you give 2 ventilations, then 30, then 2, then 30, until the ambulance arrives.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Or until they start to breathe on their own.
Which is one of the things that would want the most. Okay. Yes. Now, here's the thing. We all know how a baby is very fragile, if we can say that. So someone is worried. If you do that, because again, like you said, you either have to hit hard or again with the fingers, I mean, go in a little bit hard because you want to help them.
Yeah.
I mean, what if you leave them with like blisters and, you know?
You'd rather leave them with an injury than cause death.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah. Because, you know, if they stop breathing, what's the next step?
No, that's the thing, yes. Yeah.
So if they stop breathing, that is your priority.
Yeah.
Anything else,
we can
you're not worried
after
about.
they're okay.
Yeah. Broken bones, they will heal. But someone cannot heal from death.
That's true.
So
That's true. And yeah, and this is where like the rib cage and there's a lot
here.
So you have
the
to
lungs
be very,
are, and, you know, again, ABCs, airway breathing, circulation.
That's the priority in this.
So
this
is the priority. Your casualty is not breathing. Start chest compressions.
Okay.
If you're doing it correctly, there is minimum risk to injury. And if you do cause injury, just continue.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. They can always get help. All right. So, but what about like a baby who's like above, 2, above 5? Yeah.
Now, if they're above 5, again, the process is the same.
Okay.
You're going to start with 5 mouth-to-mouth ventilations.
Yeah.
So you give 5 mouth-to-mouth ventilations. Now, what changes is the chest compressions. You see, for a larger child, you can't use 2 fingers, maybe because you're too small.
Yeah.
So you're going to use the whole hand. Okay. Like that. And do chest compressions using 1 hand.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, because that's for a child.
For a child, and if they are a larger child who is maybe above 8 years old, you can use 2 hands.
Okay, 2 hands. Okay, yeah, because we usually see a lot of people, we do it very long, like, And then you go in ham. Okay.
Yeah. So for if you're a larger child, you might find even the caregiver, if the person who's taking care of the child might be small, and they need a lot of strength to do the chest compression because the chest is hard.
Yeah.
So if you need a lot of strength, just use 2 hands.
Okay.
Use 2 hands at the center of the chest, and you compress.
Okay.
You compress to a speed of 100 to 120 compressions per minute. But because we're talking about children, think about Baby Shark.
Okay.
You see the speed of Baby Shark?
Yeah.
The beats. Yes. So when you do that, at that speed.
Okay. How many times? Like I said, it's 100?
It's the same. Yeah. 30 chest compressions, 2 ventilations.
2 ventilations.
30 chest compressions, 2 ventilations.
Okay.
At a speed, the chest compressions are done at a rate of 100 to 120 compressions per minute.
Per minute.
Yes.
Hey. Okay. And like you said, we should also call for help.
Yes.
In the event that, you're not seeing much response than you expected. A lot of us, again, we watch movies and we go to 911. So do you want to take us through some of the emergency contacts that are available that everybody should know about before we now, talk about dressing and whatnot? Some of the emergency contacts that work here in Kenya.
Okay, so some of the emergency contacts include ours.
Okay.
As St. John, we do have ambulances, and our emergency number is 0721 611 555. There's that, and there's also 0721 225 285.
Okay.
So we have 2 numbers. We can call on either numbers and get an ambulance. Then we have the police number, which is 999, right? Yes.
Yeah.
So you can also call the police, and they'll now reach you with another provider in terms of ambulance services.
All right.
Yes.
Okay.
So those are the numbers that actually do work.
Okay. Do you want to say that again? Yours?
0721 225 285.
Okay. 225
285.
285.
Yes.
Okay.
Then police is 999.
999.
Yes.
Okay. All right. And act fast.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Even as you do like the chest compressions and whatnot.
And remain calm.
Okay. Very calm. We try. Okay. All right. First aid kit. Like we said, the basics are there, right?
Yeah.
You have your scissors in instances, we have your bleed, we have bandages and all those things.
Yes. And of course your resuscitation mask.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. But this one, I mean, how many people, like we said, would have...
It's in your first aid kit.
Yeah. For those ones that have an actual first aid kit.
Yes.
But at home, I'm just thinking, can we use, like a karatasi tunatumia
No, if you don't have it, don't improvise.
Okay.
Yeah,
because it's very easy for people to be like, yeah, I can help, improvise and whatnot. Okay.
If you don't have it and maybe you're not, it's not a relative that you're working on and such, just do the chest compressions.
Okay.
Do chest compressions only. Yes.
All right. You do not want to do anything else and risk.
Yes. If you're afraid of maybe passing infection or such, just do chest compressions.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. All right then. Okay. So what are we doing next? In case of cuts.
Yeah, in case of cuts, you have your dressing in your first aid kit. If you don't have a dressing, you can use a piece of cloth or whatever. Okay. So it's just as simple as if for example, she injures her arm here, you just need to tell her apply pressure.
Okay.
Hold on to it, keep it elevated.
Okay.
And then get a dressing. This is my dressing.
All right.
You get a dressing and just cover it like that. Hold on to this. They can be crying, that's okay. Crying is good. It tells you that they can still feel the pain. Yeah. And the pain is good. It tells you that the body is working fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. If they stop feeling pain, then now you have a problem.
Okay.
Yes.
No, that's true. Yeah, because then, so what could that mean if they cannot feel anything?
If they cannot feel the pain, it could be maybe circulation is not going very well, blood is not flowing very well where they are, and there could be another injury somewhere along that line. Okay. So you need to now do a head-to-toe assessment.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Nerves? Could that mean that the nerves have also been, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a kind of injury that, depending on the kind of injury that they have.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. And deep cuts, because sometimes we also see, very deep cuts, and we're told tie up a Jew, Do you want to take us through that whole process and why that is necessary?
Now, for bleeding, we say expose the wound, examine the wound to see if there is any debris or any embedded objects, and then apply pressure. So applying pressure is just direct pressure.
All right.
And then keep it elevated, and then cover it with a dressing. Cover it with a dressing, and the T is treat for shock. Treat for shock is just keeping your casualty warm, so they don't go into shock.
But what if it's not stopping? Like the bleeding is
if
not...
If it doesn't stop with the dressing, put another dressing on top. If it still doesn't stop, pull out both dressings, put another dressing.
Why?
Now, in extreme circumstances, if the bleeding doesn't stop, totally doesn't stop, and it is on a limb, either arm or leg, you tie something we call a tourniquet. You've ever been injected on the arm? They tie something here.
The blood, yes.
That's what we call a tourniquet. So a tourniquet is a last resort. And you tie it just above where the injury is, so that it can stop blood from flowing to that area. So what it does, it's like a tap. You switch off the tap. And it stops blood from flowing to that area.
But meanwhile, call for help.
Because
see, most of us, once you tie it, then you see, it stopped.
No. Once you tie it, do not remove it until you get to hospital. If you remove it, now you run the risk of infection and such. So do not remove that until you get to the hospital. But remember, it's a last resort. You shouldn't tie it as a first thing you do. Jaribu kwanza dressing. Dressing is not working. You've used up a number of dressings and they're not working. That's when now you tie a tourniquet.
All right. So remember, we are at home, right? And would want to improvise. So tunatafuta bladder. What is safe and what is not when it comes to improvising?
Usifunge na bladder.
You
can use a belt.
You can use a belt.
You can use a belt. A belt is thick enough to control, because a rubber band is thin and it can cause even more injury.
That's true.
So it won't help actually control bleeding.
All right. Be very careful on what you're using to improvise.
You can use a belt. That's enough. Or a tie.
All right. And then again, remember pressure, because you need to stop the bleeding before you get help. Burns. Can we talk about burns very quickly? What do we do? What are some of the mistakes that we do, or what is the first response?
A burn is, you just need to cool it. The first thing you need to do, cool it with running water. Cool running water for 10 minutes. After 10 minutes, do this. But, or if you do not have this, at home you have cling film. You have cling film. When it's a severe burn, you can cover it with cling film. The point is to prevent infection.
I mean, true.
And take them to hospital.
Don't try and all these things.
Do not apply what? I was going
to say,
don't apply any creams or ointments or anything, because you don't want to introduce something new, like an infection, something new that could cause an infection. So it's all toothpastes and creams and ointments.
Ulisema unga. Most of us tulifunza unapaka unga hivi kidogo.
It doesn't really help.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
It doesn't really help.
All right. So running water, 10 minutes.
But
then again, that depends on the severity of the burn. Right?
For a minor burn, you probably don't need. The running water is constant. That is for every burn. For a minor burn, you probably don't need to cover it as quickly, but it's just a precaution.
All right. But then again, like more severe burns, what do? I've seen people, you cover this person with like a blanket, a maleso, and then openly, I have seen people rushing, literally to the hospital. And majority of the times you don't think oh no, I need to get like a clean blanket, or you take whatever is available, you cover them and you go. So is that one of them?
For burns?
Yes.
For severe burns, yes. The covering helps in, first of all, the first thing, if their clothes are on fire, it helps in controlling the spread of the fire, to put out the fire. And again, the covering is to manage shock. What we say, you need to manage shock. Shock is a condition where there is insufficient oxygen to the body's vital organs because of now whatever injury that they have sustained. And if the oxygen is not enough in the brain, the heart, and the lungs, then we have a problem.
Yeah.
So the warmth, keeping the casualty warm, helps to improve circulation.
Okay.
The circulation of blood. Remember, blood is what transports oxygen.
That's true.
So,
yeah.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So as we take our seats, because I can see our
Yes.
time is far much spent.
Yes.
A lot of people who will be concerned to know, okay, so if I want to go for the training, how long will it take? First of all, the training. I know Michelle was like, yeah, and then once you're done with the training, we don't just give you a certificate. So Michelle, do you want to take us through how long is the training, and who would you encourage to go? I know we said everybody should have at least the basics, the skills, you know, as far as first aid is concerned. But yes, very quickly, how long does the training go for?
So we have two first aid courses.
Okay.
We have emergency first aid, which is just the basic skills, and then we have first aid at work, which is now occupational. It covers all aspects of first aid, from fractures to burns to choking, everything. So for emergency first aid, we have classes at our offices every week on Mondays.
All right.
On Mondays. Then the first aid occupational, which we call first aid at work, it's from Monday to Friday.
Okay.
Yes. So we have classes every week, long the whole year, from January all the way to December.
Okay.
Yes.
But what if I choose to start today and not the work? Just to have the basic skills.
The basic.
How long will it take?
We do advise you just come to offices on a Monday.
Okay.
Yes, on a
so
Monday.
I'll go for how many weeks?
Just one.
Oh,
just 1 day.
Oh,
1 day.
really?
Yeah, from 8:30 to 4. When you're done, you'll have the basic skills in first aid. You'll have done a bit of practical, and you'll have the knowledge. And plus, we'll give you an internationally recognized certificate. Yes,
I really like that. Okay, and very quickly, Andrew, for someone who says, but listen, so in case of an ingestion, like we said, dish soap, insecticide or anything like that, what is the basics that we need to do very quickly?
Like what, poisoning?
Yes.
Poisoning, you need to, if it is corrosive, by burning, it is burning, give them sips of cold water or milk.
Okay.
But if it is not corrosive, take them to the hospital.
Okay.
Yes,
All
don't
right.
give them anything to eat or drink.
Okay. So
Yes.
milk? No. Water?
If it is burning, you can give them water or milk.
Okay. But
if it is not burning, it is not corrosive, don't give them anything to eat or drink.
just take them to the hospital.
The water or milk is to reduce the pain and burning that they experience, and also to reduce the possibility of swelling of the airway and hence blocking the airway.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Okay. All right. Don't do anything else. I like the way you're insisting. Do not do anything else. Take them to the hospital. All right. So taking your parting shot, as far as understanding child safety, I know a lot of us saying, oh, you need to be vigilant, you need to be monitoring your kids. Some instances you really might not be able to be there 100%, right? So understanding how safety is important, and especially to a child, and in case anything happens, this is what you need to do. What would you say very quickly as we sum the conversation?
Just train. Train in first aid.
All right.
Train in fire safety, even fire safety at home, because those are some of the things that people do. And regularly just practice. Practice those skills and making sure that have a first aid kit that is available to you. It's not actually very expensive. So buy a first aid kit, keep it in the house, and regularly just stock it. And then again, look at some of the dangers that you have in the house. Always ensure that gas is properly switched off, electricity is switched off, appliances are switched off when not in use, and liquids that are chemicals are stored in their proper containers, and if not, they are properly labeled and kept away from reach of children.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. And for all the children, you know, like preteens and teens who would also want to explore all those things, this is where then you give them the information, telling them what this is all about, so that they know or what exactly happens. Because you see, for them, they're not children, you can tell, but baba, yeah, so what, like, age-appropriate information do you need to give them, like the older children? Very quickly, as we bring this to a close as well.
One thing I would advise the older children is to join the St. John Club. I know in the schools that they are in, there are clubs. There are St. John clubs in their schools. So one of the things I would advise them is to join those clubs, because we do train as young as 6-year-olds. We train them on first aid. First aid, fire, and also just how to remain calm in such situations. You know, they may see another child suffering and they may not know what to do. But now in these situations, they're able to get trained and they're able to know and they have the skills. Something else is we are a working generation. A mom is at work and you leave your child with your nanny.
House manager,
And so many parents tend to say, I'll have this nanny this month and then I'll have another one next month. But then again, you forget this nanny is the one who is having your child with you. And they're the ones, in case of any emergency, even if it's a new person, they may not know what to do. So we'll also advise people to train their nannies. We have nanny classes whereby we use the basic knowledge for them in case they don't comprehend much. But we have the classes, they should just send them. It's an investment, yes, but also it's towards keeping your child
investment
safe.
No, true, very true, because again they spend most of the time with the nannies. Okay, thank you so much. But also train the child to call the emergency numbers, right? Because in case anything happens, yes, please, or anywhere they can anywhere they can see it. Okay, thank you so much, Andrew Wanjohi, EMT and First Aid Trainer, St. John, not St. John's Ambulance, as well as Michelle Anjiku Sikobe, Communications as well from St. John Ambulance. Thank you so much for coming by this morning and reminding us how important child safety is and what we need to do in case of an emergency or an injury. But bottom line is we try and prevent from happening. But in case it happens, you have the know-how, right? Okay. So have yourselves a lovely day ahead. I'll see you tomorrow morning, same time, same place, right here on Your World. But until then, stay safe. If you have more questions, at NTV Kenya, both on Facebook and on Twitter is how you can reach us. Goodbye and God bless.